Hi my angels and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to just sit down and do a get ready with me old school style. I am going to start off by moisturizing. Wow, I'm jumping straight in here. But I am going to start off with moisturizing, and I'm going to use my Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream. I have gone through so many of these and I'm like so far into this one. I don't even know if you guys can tell, but I love this under my makeup because it keeps me moisturized without it being too heavy, because I do love a good heavy moisturizer. But when it comes to wearing like a full face of glam, I don't want to feel like too heavy, especially in the winter time, because I feel like I'm always a little bit more conscious of my makeup in the winter because I don't want it to get all like dry. For some weird reason this season my skin has been feeling like extra dry, especially like around like this kind of area. A good moisturizer is going to do the trick. I'm not going to prime just yet because we're going to start with eyes first. I want to do something really smoky, really like glamorous, and I want it to kind of match this kind of jumper. I'm basically going to a bit of a Christmas dinner tonight with the L'Oreal Beauty Squad, and I am dressing smashable because I want to be comfortable out in the snowy, cold, freezing minus weather. So I'm going with like a bit of a off the shoulder kind of jumper. It's also got this really cute like twist here as well, and it matches my bag that I'm going to be wearing. So I just want my eyes to be really kind of like smoky, and I want my makeup to do like all the talking because I'm just wearing black jeans and black boots. Where's my sharpener? Sometimes when I'm wearing something really simple, I just like play up my makeup and hope for the best. Who else is like that? Am I like the only one? But I love doing that because it just means that I can be comfortable, especially in crazy weather. By the way, the primer that I'm using is the Sephora Color Shadow and Liner in the shade Secret Boudoir. This is such a good primer. My eyeshadow does not budge whenever I use this. And then I'm just going to set my eyelids in place using my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I think I'm going to zoom you guys in. Hopefully this means you can see every little thing that I'm doing really well. I am quickly going to film my brows in. Where is my brow thingy? I found it, and the thing that I want to use is this iconic London Sculpt and Boost eyebrow cushion. I've seen it all over the internet. I have tried it with the brush that comes with it, but I really don't like using that. So I grabbed a angled brush right here, and I'm just going to take the lighter shade and start filling in the front part of my brows. I don't know how I feel about this because I'm so used to just using a pencil these days that it's taken me a while to get used to this. But I do like the way that my brows last. I really want like Instagram brows today, so I am going to go a little bit kind of more sculpted on them. So I'm going to start using the lighter colour in the inner portions of my eyebrows, and then going with a darker colour to fill in the tail part of my eyebrows. I am going to clean up my brows using some concealer, but I haven't done that in forever. First, I'm just going to go in with some brow gel. This is the Legendary Brow from Charlotte Tilbury. I think it's like a dark brown colour. I'm just going over all my hairs and making sure all of the product... Oh my god, what did I do? It's okay, we're going to clean that up. I'm just going to make sure all the product is nicely distributed throughout all of the hairs. And it doesn't matter if anything is looking messy because we are going to clean that up right this second. And I'm just going to use some of my Maybelline Eraser Eye Concealer. I feel like I use this in the bucket loads. I literally have gone through so many of these. I'm just going to go ahead and clean my eyebrows up. We're going to move straight onto the eyeshadows, and I'm going to use the Subculture Palette, and I'm going to take the shade Fudge, which is this color right here, and I'm going to build that in slowly into my crease. I find the best way to use, I want to say the most controversial palette of 2017, is to literally dip your brush in once and then just keep blending. That I find is the best way to use this palette, and I do really love the colors in this palette, which is why I do actually really like using it, but I've never included it in the tutorial, so today is going to be the day. I know the eyeshadow looks really messy right now, but that was literally dipped in once per eye, and you can see just how much eyeshadow is on there. It doesn't matter if it's messy because we are going to go and clean it up. I think now I'm just going to take my Hoola bronzer, and I'm just going to go over that just to make sure it's nice and kind of even looking, because I feel like one eye is looking a little bit darker than the other eye. So I'm just going to go and blend all those colours out a little bit more. I want to do like a halo-y, really shimmery, glittery eye, but I still want it to be really like deep and smoky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an edge like this. This is from my Ordinary primer, and kind of map out where I want my smoky eye to kind of end. I like to keep a few millimeters gap here just so that I can join the smoked out lower lash line into the eyeshadow. So that's how I kind of guide it. And then I'm going to start taking a really, really tiny amount of Untamed from the Subculture palette, and I'm going to start packing that colour in and really deepening that area up. And then I'm also going to do the same to the inner corners, and again just diffuse everything out. To make sure that everything is really nice and blended, I'm going to actually take this shade here, which is called Gloom. And this is from the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette. I find that taking like a lighter colour really helps kind of diffuse everything out. Sometimes I use like a bronzer just to help kind of smoke everything out and really blend everything away. Today I'm going to be using like a coloured shadow like this just to make sure it's all nice and blended. And this also helps kind of lighten any colours and areas up if you feel like you've gone a little bit too dark. But we are going to smoke this up a little bit more because it's not smoky enough. So to deepen the outer and inner corners a little bit more, I'm taking the shade Axis, which is a really deep colour. It's actually really similar to my jumper. So I'm going to take that and just pack that on top and make sure, again, everything's really nice and blended. That's looking more like it. It's definitely looking very, 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 very smoky. We are obviously going to go and smoke it out a little bit more once we've got like our lashes and everything on. This is just like the base work that I love doing when I'm doing like a really intense eye like this. I am very quickly going to take a mixture of Gloom and this grey shade here called Dagger. I'm going to mix them two together and just make sure that the edges are nice and blended in the crease. I do find with the Subculture palette, you've got to work like slowly and you literally just dip your brush in once. And the reason why it's like that, it's because it's a pressed kind of pigment. It's not like a traditional eyeshadow, which can be really difficult to kind of get used to. But once you kind of get to know the eyeshadow on like a one-to-one basis, you kind of can make really, really beautiful eyeshadow looks, and you literally need the tiniest amount. Sometimes I find that I don't put enough eyeshadow on my eyes, whereas with the Subculture palette, that never happens. I do, however, want to add some glitter and shimmer to the inner part of my eyes. So for that shimmery shade, I'm going to take this colour right here, which is called Amp. Oh my god, you can see me like twice in there. Hello, that's my mirror in front of me. But I'm going to take this shade here, Amped. I actually might mix a little bit of mullet into it, maybe a mixture of both of these. And I'm going to take that on a flat synthetic brush and simply start packing that on to the centre of the eyes. And this is just going to add a little bit of a shimmer to it. And I am going to add some glitter on top. Why not? I mean, it is the Christmas season. I actually really like these two shades mixed together. That looks so stunning. We are definitely going to deepen up the inner and outer corners just to give it that contrast, but we'll do that a little bit later on because I like to see how my actual eye is looking with like my lashes and everything on, and then we can deepen that up. But I am going to do my glitter before my lashes because I don't want glitter to fall into the lash band or anything. So far, I am loving the way this is turning out. I just had this like idea in my head and I'm glad that it's kind of going to plan. Just taking some Hoola right here and just blending that into the crease. Time for the glitter, and I'm going to use this glitter right here. It's called Peacock and it's by Lit Cosmetics. For the glue, I'm just going to take some of my Lit glitter glue. Just going to pack this on to the center of my eyes. And then with the same brush, I'm just going to add this on to the middle. Loves it. This is actually better than what I thought it would look like in my head. I am going to add a little bit more eyeshadow once the lashes are on. Speaking of lashes, I'm going to quickly just put some mascara and lashes on and then I'll be right back. So my eyelashes are officially on. They are very fluttery, and these are actually the Miami lashes, which are from Lilly Lashes. And just to kind of hide the band very, very slightly, I'm going to take my Inglot gel liner, which is fabulous. This stuff does not budge. I've still got some left on the lid, so I'm just going to take some on a brush. We're not going to do like a crazy wing or anything like that. We're literally just going to try and make sure that the band is looking really nice and clean. So I'm just pushing that product into the band to make sure that there's no kind of like edges kind of showing. And this little trick really makes the makeup look super neat. And it's like one tiny little thing that you do. Oh my god, I've got glitter in my eyebrow. I have already lined my upper lash line. I'm just making sure that there's no kind of gaps or anything. So I'm just kind of like brushing it through the inner part of my waterline. I would do a wing, but every single time I've worn a wing recently, I kind of feel like my eyelid is drooping and I get a dot of eyeliner like right there on my eyelid and it's so annoying. So I just kind of avoid doing eyeliner in general. I'm just going to take a wipe and just wipe away any excess kind of eyeshadow. I do have a little bit of glitter like on my nose. I don't know how that got there, but we're just going to wipe that away. And then with the outer portion, I like to kind of make sure it's really nice and neat looking. So I didn't have to use this, but I just wanted to because it just means that my guide is like there and I can kind of see what the eyeshadow is looking like. I always find eyeshadow goes in like this bit. It like flicks into there, so I'm just making sure that that's really nice and clean as well. Oh, and in case you're wondering, from my last video, loads of you guys suggested I put a hoop in my nose because it allows the bump to like really heal up. And it's healing so well. These hoops I got from Amazon. I'll leave a link below if anyone's kind of looking for some like good alternative hoops. I believe these are stainless steel and they come in like 5 or 6 different colors and they're just kind of like gold plated or whatever. So this really hasn't irritated my nose whatsoever. But I am doing like a mixture of tea tree oil and surgical spirit. And I still have yet to try the salty water. And that's purely just down to the fact because I'm really lazy. So I've just zoomed you guys out a very, very tiny amount. I'm going to add a little bit of this Tatcha Camellia oil to my face. Ugh, if I can actually open it. Ugh. Got there. This is the Tatcha Beauty Oil. I'm just going to add a little bit of that. This is just going to add a little bit more hydration to my skin this winter, and it is really cold outside, so this will give me that extra layer of hydration. Also, this is super light. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and it works so well under foundation and makeup. Whenever I've done my brows and then I do my base afterwards, I feel like I have to be so careful I don't wipe my brows away. I mean, I do have them microbladed, but you know what I mean? Like, they just look really neat. Next up, I am adding my Charlotte Tilbury Wonderglow. I love this stuff. I feel like under makeup, again, it just makes the skin look super glowy. So I'm going to put this on as well. And I think I'm just going to let this sit on my skin for a few minutes before we do the foundation. So for foundation, I am going to use an oldie but a goodie. I feel like I've been using this foundation so long because I actually got to preview it like around about 3 or 4 months before it launched here in the UK. And that is the All Hours foundation from YSL. I wore this again the other day and I was just like, I forgot just how good it is. It's super lightweight on the skin, but it keeps my nose area so nice and matte throughout the day. So I thought this would be perfect. And it also photographs it really well as well. So I'm using the shade BD45 and I've just taken 2 pumps of that on the back of my hand. And I'm just going to start bouncing this on to my skin with my damp beauty blender. And it looks really glowy when you first put it on, but then it dries really nice and matte. I'm not putting too much underneath my eyes because I'm doing that thing again where I avoid that area so that when I put my concealer on, it looks like not as heavy, if you know what I mean. So I'm just layering this bad boy on. Who else loves the smell of YSL foundations? Oh my god. I was obsessed with the Touche Éclat Le Tint foundation, like the Touche Éclat foundation. I was obsessed with that. I went to Selfridges because when it was first launched here in the UK, it was exclusive to Selfridges, and I went there and I bought it. Ever since then, I think I was like, it was quite a long time ago, but I still remember I would use it for special occasions, and I just loved the smell of it, and it just takes me back to my like younger days. But I just love the smell of this. I am going to add a little bit more coverage to like the center of my face. I feel like BD45 is such a good match for me. I, in the summer, was using BD50, but this one looks so much better. Ah! I feel like it just wouldn't be a tutorial of mine without me dropping something. But for concealer, I'm using my Eraser Eye. As always, I'm going to pop this on underneath my eyes. And I'm going to help kind of clean out that bit. And this just will add a bit more kind of definition to that outer wing. Also bringing this up slightly. And then to further highlight and brighten, because you guys know I love a bright under eye, I'm taking my Tarte Shape Tape. And I'm just adding 3 little lines of this. And then also on the sides of my nose, like so. And a little bit on my chin, and this is just whatever is left over on my brush. And I think I'm also going to bring it down to the sides. We're going to start blending this bad boy out. I'm just using the pointy end of my damp beauty blender. And if I feel like it's not blending or it's not like looking as like smooth, I'll just take the foundation end and kind of go over. I'm going to leave like the nose area because I want that to set quite slightly, because when it sets a little bit, it basically makes it harder to blend, so it makes it look more pigmented and it almost gives it more coverage in that area. So we are going to do that little trick, but blend out all the other lines. And now I'm just blending out those concealer lines on my nose. I'm not going to blend it out like fully until I have contoured with powder there. So it's going to look a little bit funny right now, but don't worry, it's all going to be sorted. Okay, for the under eyes, I am going to take my Beauty Bakerie powder. This is, again, an oldie but a goodie. I got this out of my setting powder drawer the other day and popped some on, and I was like, I forgot just how good you are. So we're gonna, oh my god, I can't get this mirror open. So I've got my brush loaded up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure there are no lines underneath my eyes with the concealer, and then I'm just going to set that away. And you can totally bake with this if you want. It's very, very finely milled, but I don't like baking, so we are just going to set this with a brush. And then I'm also going to take it up on the sides as well to further brighten that area. Same thing on this eye. And then whatever's left on my brush, I'm just going to set all the other areas where we popped the powder on. One thing I do like to do to make sure my nose stays really nice and matte is I take my Charlotte Tilbury powder and just kind of go over these sides right here and a little bit on my forehead and chin. I am in desperate need of some contouring. I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury contour wand and I'm just going to apply a little bit of this onto like where the hollows of my cheeks are. Actually, just slightly above it. And one thing that I've been doing recently is I don't connect it up, because I just find that it adds a really nice shadow without it looking too like harsh, if you know what I mean. So I'm just adding this on to all the other areas that I like to contour my face. I feel like I always go in with a cream contour whenever I'm doing like a full face of glam, and today is nothing different. So this brush that I'm using is actually a NYX brush. It's the number 6. I'm just blending all of those lines away. I'm making sure I'm blending like upwards and like almost like pushing it up into my cheek. And this is going to give more of like a lifted effect. And then with the same brush, I've got a little bit of Hoola and I'm basically applying that almost like above where we did the cream contour. And again, this is just going to make the face look a lot more lifted. Actually, do you know what? I'm just going to use the good old Hoola brush. I feel like this is such a good brush. I hope they bring it out in like a proper like brush form. I think that would be really cool because I would use that all the time. Probably looks like I've got a bit of a bronzer helmet on, but we're going to fix that. Just going to get this onto all the areas that I want to contour first. And then what I'm going to do is I've coated my brush and then I'm just going to hug the sides like this. And it probably looks really crazy right now, but we are going to fix it because I know right now it's looking pretty insane. And then taking the foundation end of my beauty blender, just going over all those bronzer and contour areas. And then also on my nose. If you have no idea what blush palette I'm going to be using, you've probably not watched pretty much any of my videos this year. I'm using my NYX Sweet Cheeks palette. I think I'm going to take a mixture of this one and this one because they are the two kind of darker shades. And I'm going to apply that onto the apples of my cheeks. And this is pigmented. So you only need a slight amount. If you feel like you got a bit too much blush on, what I do is I just go over with the foundation end. I feel like I need to brighten this area a little bit more. We're going to let that sit for a bit. So for highlight, I'm going to take an oldie but a goodie, and it is actually an eyeshadow. This is the L'Oreal eyeshadow in the shade Nude 206, and it's got a really kind of like creamy texture to it. So when you even swatch it, it feels like cream, but when you put it onto your skin, it melts in to your skin so beautifully. And this is with no setting spray, no kind of like Fix Plus, anything like that. And it looks wet. Oh, it's probably one of my favorite drugstore like single highlights, even though it's an eyeshadow. But I thought I'd whack this out because I haven't used this in ages, but I just love the way it looks on my skin. And I'm also adding a little bit onto my brow bone. With this, I find you do not need any Tatcha dewy skin mist or anything like that on top. It kind of just makes it look nice and wet without having to do anything. I'm just adding a little bit on my nose. And I'm just going to very slightly blend these lines away. I still feel like I need to perfect my nose contour. I'm always doing like different things to it, and I haven't found that one thing that works. I'm on a mission. As soon as I find it, I will let you guys know. I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of bronzer to make sure everything is nice and like blended in the skin. We are done with the base, and I think I'm just going to finish the eyes off now. I am going to do my little trick that I do with smoking out my lower lash line. I'm taking a black eyeliner. This is the Marc Jacobs one. My favorite drugstore one, if you're looking for an alternative, is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible. This one is just closest to me, but I'm going to use this on to my lower lash line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to really kind of like be quite messy with it and smoke it out on my lower lash line, if you know what I mean. I'm going to do the same on the other eye. It looks kind of messy and incomplete, but what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this shade called Axis, literally dabbing it in twice, and then I'm going to start blending that into the black. And I feel like by the time you've like blended everything out, because you've got the black from the eyeliner, it kind of does all like the blending and smokiness all for you. Definitely try this little trick next time you want to do a smoky lower lash, because it saves me so much time doing it this way. I feel like we need an inner corner highlight, so I'm going to take that same L'Oreal eyeshadow. I'm going to add that to my inner corners. I don't know if it's just my eyes, but I find it really difficult to make my inner corner highlight even on both eyes. I think that's pretty even. I'm going to very quickly add some false lash sculpt to my lower lashes. One thing I do want to do, if I can find my palette. Where are you? I found it. Okay, so I'm going to use Crave from my Naked Basics palette, and it's a really super dark black. And I'm going to pack that on to my lower lash line, and this is just going to keep that black eyeshadow really nice and set, and it's not going to move anywhere either. It's now time to start deepening up all the areas that need deepening. I'm just taking a bit more of Axis onto the outer parts of my eyes. I don't think I'll need to do too much, because I feel like with the smoky lash, it's still looking pretty good. Still looking pretty smoky, but I feel like I might add some black into the mix just to make it that extra, a little bit extra smoky. Yeah, I think I am going to add a tiny bit of black, so I'm going to use the same color Crave from the Naked Basics 1 palette. I'm just going to really deepen that outer corner up a little bit more. Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. For lips, I'm going to keep it super nude because the eyes are doing all the talking. So I'm taking my Mahogany Lip Liner and I'm going to line my lips. And I am also going to slightly overline them as well. I legit just spent like 20 minutes trying to look for a lipstick, but I can't find it because my filming room is a tip. I need to get that sorted. And the lipstick I was actually looking for is Blondie from Bite Cosmetics, but I have no idea where I've put it. I did find my Charlotte Tilbury Kim KW, so I'm just going to put that on top. And this is super nude as well. And the colour I'm going to mix it in with is Pillow Talk. And this should give me a really nice kind of skin tony nude colour. I feel like I'm still not happy with the shade, so I'm gonna pat most of that away, and I'm gonna go in with Naked, and this is actually from Primark, and I've been wearing it a lot recently, so we're just gonna go in with that. Might add a little bit of Kim KW into the center. I'm pretty happy with that lip. Just adding a teeny tiny bit of more highlight onto my face. I feel like, seeing as it's Christmas and it's all about the sparkle, I'm going to take a little bit of Trophy Wife and just dust that onto the tops of my cheeks. And this just gives it a really slight kind of sparkle to the highlight. One thing I do like doing whenever I have got a full face of glam is I take my Bare Pro foundation, which is a foundation powder foundation from Bare Minerals, and this is in the shade number 17, and I just kind of dust that, or like press it onto my skin, and I just find that this just gives me a little bit extra coverage without it looking really heavy or cakey. And then the final thing for me to do for my makeup is pop some All Nitron. This, I cannot live without this stuff. I feel like I can't do my makeup without it, but I'm just gonna spray this onto my face. My hair is magically all curled. This is what it looks like once I have just kind of curled it and like left the ends pretty straight. Let me know if you guys would like to see an updated like how I curl my hair video, because it's very different to what I used to do. But now I'm just going to add some final touches to my hair. I've actually got this Bumble and Bumble Pret powder, which is supposed to make your hair quite big. So I'm just going to add this to the roots and hope for the best. I've never actually used this before, but hopefully it makes my hair nice and fluffy at the roots. This is apparently a dry shampoo as well, but I'm just using it as a hair fluffer upper. Okay, I think it's all in my hair, but now I'm just gonna kind of give it a bit of a zhuzh. I did make it quite big, but nothing crazy. But that's okay, I'm gonna go in with some hair oil. The one that I'm using is the Way Rose Hair and Body Oil. I'm gonna add a few squirts of that into my hands, and then I'm just gonna kind of run my fingers through my hair. So I'm not like rubbing it in my hair because I've got the oil still in my hair, but it will kind of like brush into it. Same thing on the other side. I just love it when my hair is all curly. It just makes me look like I've made so much effort. I can't forget my earrings. These I think are from Aldo, I want to say, but I got them off of ASOS. They're quite glamorous. Again, smashable, if you know what I mean. Jeans, jumper, smoky eye, big hair, big earrings. Kind of does the trick. The last thing that I can't forget is my perfume. The one that I'm going to put on today is the Elizabeth & James Nirvana perfume, but this is in the specific scent Bourbon. And this is like a bourbon and vanilla, I think it is. I love this one. The white one is my favorite out of the whole range, but this is, I think, my second favorite. It just smells so nice. I generally don't like vanilla as a like a fragrance scent, if you know what I mean, like for perfumes, but this is just something else. It has like this woody deep bourbon scent to it, and it is just brilliant. You can get this from Harrods, and this also comes in a dry shampoo, which I believe is stocked online, but I'm going to leave a link to everything that I've mentioned in the info box below. I am going to just put a middle parting into my hair. And that, you guys, is the end of this makeup tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed getting ready with me. And I can't wait to just do more get ready with me's and more like favorites videos and like bringing that old school flair back to my channel, because I have really missed it. And yeah, do let me know what other videos you guys would like to see here on my channel. Just leave me a comment below. If you do end up recreating this look, then again, tag me in your pictures on Instagram and Twitter. I am on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that, so I will leave all the details as always in the info box below, along with all of the products that I've used today. I guess that's all from me for now, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!